Welcome back to Lucid Living, and if this is your first time, welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you aboard. My name is Andrew Larkin. I'm an actor, model, performer, storyteller, breathwork coach, and today I'm going to be your host, your guide for today's podcast episode. All right, my friends, we are rocking and rolling with these episodes, and we got a great freaking guest on today, and I'm so stoked to dive into this conversation. But before we dive in, let's do some nice grounding breath work. We're kicking off February, right? I guess we're like almost halfway through February, but it was just Valentine's Day, and yeah, just some self-love right now, some self-love. So today we're gonna do Let's do a 5 second box breath. So this is going to be an inhale for five, a hold for five, an exhale for five, and a hold for five. And remember, when we inhale, we're going to inhale through the nose. As we inhale, we're going to expand the belly like you're filling up a water balloon, nice and big, nice and big, nice and big. Hold at the top, and then exhale out the mouth, and that belly is going to come back to your center. So feel the rise and fall of the belly. Focus on the breath. Listen to the sound. Feel the body rise and fall. Tap you in this moment. It's the only moment that exists. So if you further ado, let's rock and roll. So let's begin by an inhale through the nose in three, and two, and one. Big inhale through the nose. Two, three, four, five. Hold it. Two, three, four, five. Exhale out the mouth. Four, three, two, one. Hold it. Four, three, two, one. Big inhale through the nose. Two, three, four, five. Hold it. Two, three, four, five. Exhale out the mouth. Four, three, two, one. Hold it. Four, three, two, one. Last one. Big inhale through the nose. Two, three, four, five. Hold it. Two, three, four, five. Exhale out the mouth. Four, three, two, one. Hold it. Four, three, two, one. All right, wiggle the toes, wiggle the fingertips, welcome the body back, and whew, hope you feel good. Take a sip of water if you need some water. Now, my friends, today we have on the episode, we got an actor, a stunt man, a musician, a father, a surfer, and a fellow heavy hitter. What is going on, Quentin Pardee Collins? What's going on, baby?
What's happening? That was so nice. I feel so centered and present now after the breath work. It's so
It is
nice.
crazy. It's crazy. I do it for myself, honestly, but it's the
Yeah.
best. It's the
No,
best.
it's nice. I couldn't sleep last night and I was doing some breathing exercises. The like four breaths in, hold for seven, and then exhale for eight.
Oh, you do a 478? Low key, guys, that is who is it? What's his name? Andrew Weil is like this super dope individual who does really cool things. And he said that is like, I think he said that was like one of the best parasympathetic breathing exercises to just calm the nervous system down, the 478.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite. It always helps. I mean, I don't know, my brain's always just like going, and then especially when it's not supposed to be. Like when I'm trying to go to sleep, it's just like continues to like whether it's like with a song that I have stuck in my head that I'm like writing at the moment, or like I'm mixing a song, then like that song just replays over and over in my head, and I get like so, oh my God, like focused on little things and kind of
Dude,
crazy about it, and then I have
yeah.
to like try to breathe through it, and then sometimes it works, and then sometimes I'm just like staring at the ceiling like
Dude, the,
yeah.
the artist's life, it's hard to wind it down. It's hard to wind it down, but it is really important in the recovering process. But I mean, there's a lot of amazing artists who never really got any sleep, you know? So it's a gift, though. It's a gift. And you got the gift. You got the gift. But my brother, so first off, let's start off with where are you geographically right now? And then how are you feeling just like physically, emotionally, spiritually in this kind of time and season of life?
Right now, I'm out on Long Island at my parents' place. I'm in the barn, as we call it. It's an old barn that was like converted into a sort of cottage. So I'm recording here right now. Play a lot of music in here, so it's like kind of one of my favorite spots to be. Record some music in here, jam with some friends in here. So it's a great vibe.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Amen, brother.
yeah.
All right, my man. So I always find when I like meet people and try to dive deep with them, I always end doing like my own self-reflections. So much of kind of like who I am came from childhood based off of like who my parents were, the environment that I was raised in, the hobbies that they thrust me into. So I want to ask, what was life like for young Quentin growing up? Like what was your family situation? Did you have any siblings? What kind of hobbies were you into? What was life like for the young Quentin?
Um, yeah, just I mean my parents. I live with my parents, and I have an older sister. She's 3 years older than me, and yeah, it's just growing up out here in the Hamptons, out on Long Island. Summers are so beautiful and great. I was just so lucky to grow up at the beach, and the water is such a huge part of my life. And I was a big skateboarder when I was younger, so that was a huge part of my life. I still skate to this day, but when I was younger, it's just every single day, just skating
Mhm.
with my friends and getting outside, and that was just one of my favorite things to do is just skate and be outside with my friends and run around and cause trouble and just be a kid, just carefree and yeah.
Yeah. Did you grow up like on Long Island? Do you grow up like on the water?
Not like directly on the water, but yeah, like right like the beach is like 10 minutes away. I mean there's like a 5 minute walk is like right to the bay, which is like the Mauritius Bay, and then there's like
Mhm.
an inlet like right there that goes into the ocean. But yeah, there's a drive into West Hampton. There's like a 10-minute drive over the bridge into onto Dune Road where all the ocean beaches are. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, very
But
cool.
yeah, the past like 6 years, yeah, we lived at like pretty much at the beach on Dune Road, which is like just such a dream and so amazing.
Mhm.
You just wake up, go for a walk on the beach, or yeah, just so amazing. Yeah, wake
Yeah.
up to like the sunshine and go for a surf if the waves are nice, and go for a swim. Wake myself
Mhm.
up a little bit with the in the early summer with the cold water, but
Mhm. Yeah, man, dude, I miss it, bro. I did experience a little bit of that when I was in South Carolina, and it's hard to it's I don't know. I still dream about it, man. Just like waking up, talking, hearing about like Andrew Huberman talk about sun exposure in the morning, being able to
yeah.
dig your toes into the sand, like it does something to the body. It's really healing, and I mean the connection is unlike anything, and that's why I don't know. It's the surf life is really cool. Have you ever? I mean, not like stereo. When did you start surfing? Was that like right off? Like, was it skating and then surfing, or surfing and skating?
Yeah, so the first time I surfed, I was super lucky when I was younger. Our parents and some family friends we took a trip to Costa Rica in Nosara in Costa Rica, and that was the first time I was ever on a surfboard, and that's like when I kind of fell in love with it. And I was like skating and that was when I was like 5 or 6 doing that the surfing for the first time. But yeah, I was skating a little before that, and that was like kind of what I thought was like super cool. Like I'm like, oh, like what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, professional. I want to be Tony Hawk, or I want to be like a rock star or something. So it's like those kind of things, and then like surfing kind of came in, and I never really like fully got into it, like really fell in love with it until like when I was in like high school, when I was kind of more independent and I can like go to the beach by
Mhm.
myself and like kind of be out there by myself, and my parents would be like, okay, we feel comfortable with him like going in the water and like going to the beach, without like a lifeguard or somebody like watching, because I mean the
Mhm.
ocean's so dangerous. But
Mhm.
um yeah, like once I kind of gained some more independence into high school, end of middle school into high school, like I bought my first board that I bought for myself, and just kind of fell in love with that, like that freedom of like going into the water, whether I was like with my friends, one of my best friends, Robert, like we kind of really got into it together. And yeah, just fell in love with it, and just being out there and waiting for the right wave. And there's so many like it sounds so like cliche and stuff because I've heard people who don't even really surf like talk about this kind of thing, but it's super true. Like about being super persistent and kind of just like waiting for the right wave to come, and then
Mhm.
like even if you don't get that wave, there's another wave. There's always waves coming. The ocean never is like sitting still, and that's like a great lesson for life. Like that sounds kind of I don't know, like
Oh man, it's the ultimate metaphor. And I think there's so many metaphors that nature gives us of life. Um, it's constant, dude. Nature's so alive, and it's such a beautiful thing to be a part of. I'm also curious, you when did music start playing a role in your life? Was that when you were really young? Were you surrounded by it a lot? Were your parents like influential on you on like the types of music that you listen to?
yeah, so I've actually my mom has been telling this story forever, but I've like only really started to be kind of aware of its impact on me. But so when I was like as soon as I was born, both my parents worked, and my mom, she used to work, she worked at MTV for forever, and yeah, she just like continued to work even like after I was born, and she would, and I just not to get in too personal or like whatever, talk about my mom breastfeeding me, but she was taking me to
Mhm.
work because I had to breastfeed. So I was around this
Okay, yeah.
musical environment. Like she was a producer and a director, so she would be editing together these packages for MTV, like with all the music and
No way.
being around that kind of environment. There's always music playing and musicians coming in and out and stuff like that. So I don't know, maybe that had an impact on me. Like that was the start of my musical journey. But yeah, and then when I was like 5, my parents pushed me into taking violin lessons, which I was like, I don't really want to do that, but I did it anyway. And I actually remember the first time like I was like on stage, I think was for a violin recital when I was like 5. And I was like they kind of pushed me out on stage. And I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was just like kind of doing
Mhm.
that, but everyone thought I was super cute, and I was like, I like that feeling of being on stage. But yeah, that was kind of the start. That was the very start of the musical journey. But then I did like band in school throughout like elementary school and middle school and high school, and I was in the percussion section. But I didn't. Nothing really like clicked for me for because I didn't. I'm like bad at paying attention and stuff, and I was always just like love playing the drums, but like I never really like took the time to get into like reading music or trying to like understand any of the theory. Uh, and yeah, I kind of always just had kind of instinctually or had like a feel for it, and I still kind of do that to this day. But like when I started playing guitar and like in high school, I taught myself guitar, and I realized that I have like kind of, I don't know if it's perfect pitch or something like that, but just like I can hear kind of, and I like hear music in my head. I'm not crazy, but I hear this music in my head, and that, and then like once my skills and kind of my focus and passion caught up to what was going on in my head, I started to write it and record it, and yeah, and there's nothing more satisfying and like rewarding than um, creating, and then especially with music, like whether it was like acting or or the music stuff, like just creating stuff is so rewarding and so amazing.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm just like rambling. I don't know if that answered your
Oh,
question. I
that was
forgot what
great.
you
No,
asked.
bro, you got a gift, man. You got a freaking gift. That's beautiful.
Thank
And I
you.
wanted to say because I saw one of your videos where I think you were playing or you were talking about Jack Johnson. I'm like, you got major Jack Johnson vibes, dude. I love Jack
Oh,
Johnson.
thank you. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. He's so talented. It's one of my favorite like guitar players for sure. Because a lot of the stuff that he plays is like it's just like like it sounds so like natural and kind of raw. There's like not so much like it's not overproduced or anything like that. And
Mhm.
his voice is like so soft and kind of like that. It's always he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, bro. He plays for the people. And also, what was the documentary with Kelly Slater and like Machado and like the generation,
Oh, the Momentum
Random
Generation.
Generation, yeah. And I didn't realize that like he was a full on like in that crowd. Like
Yeah,
he was
dude,
on
yeah,
his
he
way
grew
there.
up on the North Shore. It's crazy, and he's a sick surfer too.
Yeah.
He like broke his back, and like that's why he didn't go like pro, I guess.
No, that's
But
right. That's right.
yeah, it's
Dude, pretty
crazy.
cool.
Such a good surfer. I've seen like videos. He still surfs to this day, and he like rips. Like he could be on tour, honestly.
Yeah. No, wild. It's wild. Did you go to a university?
Yes, I did. I went to the University of Vermont. I
Mm-hmm.
did.
And what did you study?
I studied I studied theater, and yeah, I got my BA. my Bachelor of Arts. So that's more of like a well-rounded. It's not like the BFA is like more kind of focused on like whatever you want to do in the theater, but then this is kind of a more broad. You kind of to graduate, you have to take a bunch of different classes, like a makeup class. I took the costuming class, scenery class, acting as well, and then there's directing classes that you could take. So amazing, yeah. It
Mhm.
was that was a great way to do it because you kind of get the whole understanding of everything in the theater, um, and you understand that every little part. Like it's not just the acting or the directing that's the important part. It's a whole team effort, and without one part, like kind of the whole thing will fall apart. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Dude, and everything is so fascinating. I mean, for me, when I was younger, without having an understanding for like the different departments and like the team that it takes to make a picture like put onto that big screen,
yeah,
you kind of just think it's just the actors like just doing their thing. But it's dude, and once you're on set and you see the intricacies of everything and like what a prop person goes through like on a daily day basis, what a craft, it's crazy. It's so cool, and
that's
that's
right.
one of the
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
thing about
It's
film. And I mean,
yeah.
it's a team with theater too, so it's really cool. But when did like performing in theater start playing like trickle in? Was that when you were younger too?
Yeah, I've been doing plays and musicals since I was like 5, just kind of at the local performing arts center, the West Hampton Beach Performing Arts Center. Shout out, PAC. Um, yeah, that's where everything began in theater. I think I know my first show. It was The Jungle Book, and I played a little
Hey,
monkey.
hey,
It's just like a bunch of little kids that they like wrangle together and throw you in a monkey costume, and
mhm,
your job is just kind of run out there and be cute and sing a song all together with them. But
mhm,
that was the start, and that was amazing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I like kind of I was super nervous. I remember to do that, but then I was like, "There's all these other little monkeys with me, so we're
mhm.
gonna be good." But yeah, it was amazing. And I remember there's a tiger in the show. I forget what it is, but I remember even like when we were backstage when I was with like all the other little monkeys, like the guy who was playing the tiger, like kind of came into our dressing room, and like we were all just kind of stayed in character, and we were like, "Oh, I'm so scared of this tiger," because in the show, like he's a bad guy. But
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. That's where the method acting kind of started. So at 5, that's where I began to take on that approach to the craft. But no, I'm just kidding.
Dude, for the love of the game, man, that's awesome. Wait, and like, you played football too, right? Did you play in high school or?
Yeah, I did. I think I played up until like 10th grade, and then I kind of stopped because I hit my head a bunch of times, and I went to the doc. I like passed out this one time during practice, and I don't know if it was because of it was probably a combination of like the heat and then also like hitting my head or something like that. But then like the doctor kind of told me like, oh, you should probably cut down on the contact sports, but I was like, I don't really want. I want to keep playing, but the next year I just decided I'm not gonna play football. I don't want to risk it because I snowboard too, and I've injured myself snowboarding as well. I've
Mhm.
never had like a terrible head injury, but I have a few concussions, so I was like, I
Mhm.
don't want to be a vegetable, you know. So I
Yeah.
decided to tone it down on the full contact sports. But then when I went to University of Vermont, I joined club football, which is still full contact. So I was like, I don't know what that was, but that was fun. That was super fun.
Yeah.
So I miss playing football. Anytime I'm like watching football, I like want to be
Dude.
doing it.
I hear they're casting Friday Night Lights, a little reboot, so you never know.
No
You never know.
way.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome. I think I've seen maybe some casting stuff about that. I don't know if it was um maybe they're doing it under a different name, the working
Yeah,
title.
probably. I mean, I know, and I heard Pete Berg's still attached to it, and he's the director
Oh
who's
yeah, yeah. I was just listening to him on Smartless, I think a few weeks ago.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
You
beast.
listen to
He's a beast.
Smartless?
Hmm.
So great. So great.
It's just like crazy how during like times where it's like nothing really kind of makes sense, just three dudes who are like best friends and well connected in the industry just start hopping on, having conversations, and just kind of shooting the shit, and just look at where it is now. You never know.
Yeah,
Do
it's
what you love.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. The
But when
Lucid Living podcast up next. Let's go.
consistency, baby.
Yeah.
So in high school, did you end up kind of leaning more into like you were doing the theater productions at the school?
Yeah. Not until like 10th grade though, because like the typical like high school thing to be like, oh, I want to fit in. I don't want to be really seen. I want to be seen, but I don't want to be seen as like different. So
Mhm.
kind of, I knew I loved theater and I continued to do theater, but then like I would do it still like outside of school. But then like in ninth grade, I was like, I don't know if I want to go out for the show that they're doing. And I was like, I'm a freshman, and I felt like nervous to do it, so I didn't. But then in my sophomore year of high school, I was like, you know what, like fuck it, I'm gonna do it, and um, yeah, I auditioned. I think it was a Woody Allen play. It was called Don't Drink the Water, and then that was like I had a sort of like comedic relief role, and that was amazing. Like I always, my whole life, I've loved making people laugh, and then that was kind of like sealed the deal. Like that's like my favorite feeling of like having people doing something silly or kind of being in a situation and kind of playing at the complete opposite of how you should, or like in
Mhm.
yeah, but and getting laughs for that is just so amazing.
Yeah, bro. It's the drug, man. It's how it gets you.
Yeah.
It's how it gets
I'm
you.
chasing it ever since I've been fucking, you know.
So what was the transition like going from you kind of studying it as kind of like a hobby to being like, all right, this is actually what I want to pursue, and then you're taking all those classes in college. What was that jump like from high school to college?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, kind of, um, when I've always known that I wanted to do it. I think maybe it was like when I finally decided, I was like, you know what, like, fuck it. Like, I don't care what anybody else thinks. Like, I love, doing theater and I love acting and stuff like that. So, like, I don't know if there was ever like an aha moment of like, no, this is what I want to do. I've kind of like always known, and then when it came time to like apply for schools and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, I'm gonna go into business, or I want to be a doctor or a physical therapist or something like that. Um, I'm like, I don't really want to like sit at a desk or like do that that kind of thing. Like I love to like be active and move around, and I love to learn and stuff like that. But like I don't know, like I just didn't want to like all that other stuff, like not to take I don't know, like put down anybody else's decisions to do something like that. But that's like their love and their passion, I guess, or maybe they're just selling out because they want to make some money. But I was like, I'm not going to do that. I was just realistic with myself, and I was like, if I'm going to go to school, I mean, because my parents, like every kid or every parent, like like they want their child to have like a good life or whatever. So they're like, oh, like I mean, in this country, it's like you go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you kind of do the whole thing, you have a family, you take part in this whole society with the whole like cyclical kind of whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, I'm gonna study theater if I'm gonna go to school. I want to be an actor. So I was like, yeah, just kind of seemed like that was the only thing that I wanted to do, and that just seemed like the right fit.
Yeah, man, follow your heart, dude. I'm telling you, I think like every kind of artist, there's always that little thing that kind of like a rebellious nature of like going against the grain. Because I felt the same way, dude. Like, it took me a long time to be able to express what I actually wanted to pursue and what I wanted to do. But like deep, deep, deep knowing of like I don't want to sit behind a desk the rest of my life. And I'm curious, genuinely, if like people who do sit behind a desk their whole life, if that is actually like their love and passion, or if they're kind of just doing it to kind of survive and pay the bills and do the thing. So, but there's something about the playfulness, the creation, tapping into characters. Was there a thing for you that was like it getting the laughs, like the thing that really drew you into performing?
Yeah, I guess it was like, I think at the beginning it was like always getting the laughs, and like every kid, it feels good to have attention and stuff like that. But I don't think I was ever like thinking about it like that. But yeah, definitely the laughs. Like I could like could feel that there was a kind of like a warmth like inside me, and like makes me smile just thinking about it. But yeah, getting those laughs, and then later on, like when life starts to get a little more complicated or whatever, like when I would go to rehearsals for a play or a musical or whatever, like I would kind of leave everything at the door and just only be
Mm.
focusing on this character in the world of this show. So it was like a bit of an escape, I guess. And yeah, it's just kind of a nice and also a creative outlet, like kind of is probably the first experiences of like creating something and like putting something together and working together um, as like a team. And while I had experience like working together as a team with the through sports and stuff growing up, it was a different type. It was more creative, and I don't even know. It just felt more like fulfilling, like doing like creating something in a creative way. I don't
Mm.
know if that's the best way to put that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's real, bro. It's real. All
Yeah,
right, now I gotta ask you because you're a Smartless listener, and
yeah,
we know our boy Sean Hayes
yeah.
always ask any theater person, what's like the one like theater horror story?
Oh,
Have you do you have any that's coming to mind?
I do. One comes to mind, and it's oh my God. I think I was in like ninth or 10th grade, and I was doing a production of Into the Woods. Um, and it was the first time I did Into the Woods. I did it later, I think my senior year of high school. But this was 10th grade. I had a hot mic, and I
Oh
had
man.
gone backstage, and I did not like how the way um, the scene had just gone. Like I'm just very hard on myself, and I'm always just like I've gotten better at the with like not doing so much negative self talk, but I'm always just like, oh, like fuck, like whatever. And I said, I said motherfucker, and my mic was still hot, and it went out into the everybody heard it, and yeah, that was.
What character were you?
I was playing the narrator, and then I was the mysterious man, and that was like a big thing to take on because the narrator's like in every scene, kind of setting up and then kind of I don't know, giving kind of the rundown of like what just happened, kind of I don't know, but yeah, that was that was so embarrassing, and then nobody told me until after the show, and then I was like, oh shit, and I was like, I gotta like get my shit together. I gotta stop cursing so much and make sure that I like don't speak backstage anymore.
Mm. No, man, that's good. I feel like all those stories, you always grow and learn from it. So, and it always makes for a good laugh afterwards, when you're like removed from like the emotion of it.
Yeah.
But so you're in college, you're doing the thing. What was the transition from you're in school, you're doing the thing to graduating, and now it's like, all right, I'm trying to find work. Was it always like I want to go straight into the theater, or did you have like film and TV on the horizons? And like, because your mom was also in the industry too, did she also like help guide you throughout that process?
A little bit, yeah. Like, I've got from her, I've gotten like a lot of just because she owns her own production company now, and she does more. Like once my sister and I to kind of be not have to be commuting like back and forth into the city. She opened up her own place like out east. Originally, she was in Bridgehampton. That was where her office was, and she did like different things for like VH1 and still worked with MTV and stuff, and did some stuff with like Disney, but like throughout her own production company. And that just owning your own business and seeing her do that, like more in recent years, I've gotten more like aware of like how much goes into it and like how much hustle like of like getting your own work and like making your own stuff and like putting yourself out there and pitching things and making connections, and it's always a hustle, and like I learned a lot of that from her. She definitely inspires me in that way. But then yeah, like coming out of university, yeah, I mean, I was always just like thinking like, oh, like I like would love to work like consistently as an actor and like do all that stuff. I want to continue to do theater and do all that stuff, but realistically, and I heard Tristan say the same thing in his episode. He mentioned that like it's hard, kind of a little harder to make a living doing the theater stuff. And I would love to do more theater, but yeah, film and television, it's just like it pays a little better, and to continue to do these kind of fulfill the creativity and stuff and like the passion of acting and stuff like that, like doing film and television. While I love doing that, I just love the rehearsal process of theater
Hmm.
so much, and like everything with film and television is just like so quick and like a lot more, yeah, fast paced. But yeah, I did background work like towards the end of high school. I started like submitting through like backstage and stuff and doing some background work just to kind of get like a feel for the vibe, like on sets and stuff. And that was amazing, kind of just seeing, getting to like having my eyes open to everything and taking everything in of like, what does this department do? Like, who's that guy? What, and just asking questions. And just absorbing it like a sponge, and like that was so amazing. And even like when I was home for breaks and stuff, like I would try to see um what's filming and see if I could get on that set and submit my headshots and my whatever resume I had at the time, and see if I could get on these cool sets. And that was amazing. And then um my best friend, his dad is a stunt coordinator, and he always knew that I want to be an actor and stuff, and he was not, like nice enough. He's like, oh, I could get you on these sets if you get your lifeguard certification, because he does a lot of water safety stuff in the stunt field. And Yeah, so I did that, and he got me on a few sets, and that's through doing stunts and water safety is how I got into the Screen Actors Guild. And
Oh, great.
yeah,
And
that was.
does that is there like a SAG for specifically for like stunts versus like an actor in film and TV, or is it the same? So like if
It's,
you get,
yeah, it's all in the SAG after. Yeah.
that's awesome. What was it? What was it? Was it like you're a fish out of water and like it was like trying to figure it out, or did you find like an instant love for doing stunt work?
I don't. There's like so. Anytime I'm on set, there's like I just try to be like open to everything and try not to like act like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm this guy, I know so much, or try to fit in with like everybody who's been doing it forever. Like I try to like be like, oh yeah, I'm competent in this, and I can do this. I can say yes to like kind of everything. Um, but also like I like to just be almost like the like little brother or something, that's kind of just like listening to like the older guys like talk, and just there's so many stories and stuff, and which is so amazing, that you hear from these stunt guys who have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years in the business, and it's just like it's so amazing to be like open to it all. I try not to let the like nerves and like the pressure of some of the things like get to me, but yeah, you kind of just have to, in those moments, like if you do feel like a fish out of water, you kind of just have to like lock in and tell yourself like, oh yeah, you're prepared for this. This is what you want to be doing. Like don't feel, this is so fun, and then you get to enjoy it like once you kind of already are doing it. Mainly
Mhm.
for me, like the leading up to it, like the anticipation of like going there when I'm like driving in, if I'm coming from out here, like driving into work, like at like 4:30 in the morning, I'm like trying to make it in. It's like that's when I'm like getting nervous, or the night before when I'm like doing the breathing, trying to get myself to go to sleep. Like that's when I'm super nervous. But once I'm in there, like I lock in, and I'm like just so happy to be there, and I try to be as present as possible.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. And I just want to kind of emphasize, dude, you did stunts for Fallout, The Walking Dead, Dead City, Turtles All the Way Down. You were a surfer and no, dude, you were a surfer and No Hard Feelings. That movie was hilarious.
Yes, I
Um,
did. I
yeah,
played
you've
that.
done some pretty cool stuff, man. Do you have like any crazy stunt stories? Because I feel like I don't know, I feel like I've done a lot of listening to and trying to study and understand actors and from life in that world. Stunts is a very different kind of world that I feel like hasn't really gotten the recognition that it deserves, except until like The Fall Guy with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. So I mean I'm sure that was cool to watch, but um like what is like the prepar is there preparation that you got to do beforehand? And also like is the physicality of it. Have you had any like scary like close calls as a stuntman?
Um, I think so. Crazy stories are like preparation for it. So when one of the first like stunt jobs that I had, it was like I had been doing like a bunch of water safety stuff, getting on set that way, which is a great like I was doing with background, like just kind of getting on set and being open to like everything, like kind of doing your job, but then like when you have the opportunity to just like open your eyes to everything, like the water safety stuff got me even like closer because when they're filming anything around water, you have to have a water safety team there. Um, just for like safety reasons, obviously. But so you're right in there. You're like right next to the principal actors, and you get to see these huge actors do their thing, and like you see them in between takes, and you see them like when they're in the scene, and a lot of these guys they just stay like so focused, or they kind of like it's different with some of them, but it's just it's crazy to see like different people's process or whatever. But um, yeah, just so amazing to see how these people work, and like directors as well, and seeing how they speak to the actors and speak to their first ADs and like whatever, and kind of communicate their vision to the people that they're collaborating with to like make it happen. It's just like so cool. You get getting to see all that up close, and then
Mhm.
but yeah, some of the preparation stuff that I've done, I mean, just like, saying like physically fit and stuff like that, going to the gym and just like kind of making sure that you're ready to go at any time if you get the call. Because a lot of these things are super last minute. Like I was working on this job with a huge director, like which is crazy. I still can't even believe I got to work with this guy. But the stunt coordinator who's been like the guy who's been getting like making stuff happen for me or like getting me getting me these opportunities. Um, this guy Chris Barnes, he's a veteran in the stunt community and in the just a all around great guy. He's been making stuff happen for I mean so many people, but he's started me off in my career, got me into SAG and all this stuff, and he's been such a great like someone to talk to if I have any questions with anything. Super great guy. He texted me and he's like, "Hey, can you send me a video of you swimming?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So then anytime I get a text like that, I drop everything. I just do it, send it in as quick as possible because you never know. Like that text could have gone out to like three other people, and whoever gets it first, like
Mhm.
they'll say, "Oh, it's already been filled," And that goes with self tapes too. Whenever I do a self tape, I try to do it like as quick as possible. Um, but yeah, so I like did this swimming thing, and then he's like, "All right, are you available this day?" I'm like, "Yeah, 100%." And then he sends me a picture of Austin Butler, and he's like, and then just nothing after it. I was like, "Oh shit, I guess I'm doubling for Austin Butler."
Bro, I remember you telling me.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
We're gonna dive any deeper into it, but I remember you sharing a little bit about it. And I'm like, that is just like the coolest experience ever. But dude, like hearing you like just be like a fly on the wall and soak it all in through just osmosis. What an education, dude. That's like almost as valuable, if not more, than like actually, spending thousands of dollars to go to school. Like it's really cool.
100%, yeah, um, yeah, and yeah, just learning on the job. Like, get if you have the opportunity to do that, like learning on the job, taking everything in, asking questions without being like annoying to, I guess, other people, but just like being open to like um, learn things from the people who have been doing it for forever, and like learning, yeah, learning on the job is like the most amazing way to learn about this industry and about even the craft of acting, like learning from doing.
Dude, yeah, and just like watching the actors go through their process, because everyone has their own process, and dude, I feel like I actually learn more from watching that. Like I watched a video of Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Have you seen that, bro? It's like 10 minutes of him like improvising.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
this is like an actual masterclass. Like this is firsthand, like seeing it was just I was blown away. But I feel like I learned a lot through that because you kind of don't really know what to do or what not to do, and like no one really sometimes tells you, how you should and shouldn't do it. Especially when
Yep.
you show up, you kind of just make sure you're prepared. You show up, you do your work, you say your lines, you get through it. But it's really cool to kind of see that. So that's so dope that you got to experience that and are going to continue to experience that over time. Now, dude, when I first met you, I remember like kind of going through your stuff and I started fanboying over seeing your clip from Only Murders in the Building. I'm like, dude, that was insane. So tell me, what was that process like? What was the audition process like? And then actually being on set and shooting it.
Ah, yes. Gideon Gooseberry. Um, so yeah, another Chris Barnes. Thank you, Chris. He texted me and he's like, "Are you available this day?" Pretty much. I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "All right, do this monologue, put yourself on tape, and send me it." And he's like, "Just send it by tomorrow or whatever." And I was like, "All right, cool." And he sent me. It was a monologue from Hamlet. So I was auditioning for a TV, and I knew it was for Only Murders in the Building, but I was auditioning for television with a Shakespeare monologue, which was pretty interesting. But yeah, so I spent like I really wanted it to be so good because I knew it was this was a big opportunity. And you only get like a little bit of information about it. I know that Chris works on Only Murders in the Building. I know that he was currently working on it, so I was like, it's definitely Only Murders. And yeah, so I worked on this monologue. The it's Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio. That kind of deal. I don't know if you're familiar with Shakespeare, but yeah, it's like so I did that, put myself on tape. I'm like a bit of a perfectionist, so I drive myself crazy with these self tapes, which is like kind of a good thing and also could be a bad thing, because you like want it to be, you have the opportunity to make it as good as it can be, and you get multiple tries at it. But then if you're like me, you drive yourself crazy with like trying to get it perfect and perfect, and you like nitpick every little thing, and then you're like, oh shit, like that one was good, but this little part wasn't good, and then I'm gonna redo it, and then I'm like, oh, that part was good now, and then
Yeah.
but that
Yeah.
part wasn't. But anyway, so I did that. I sent it in, and then he was like, it's down to you two, like these me and this other guy, and and then I think a day after that, he was like, "You got it," and I was like, oh, I was so excited. I was like, just so amazing. That was like the one of the first big acting jobs that I had because it was like involved a stunt, but I also got to actually act and be on stage, and that was such an amazing experience getting to work when we actually working on the day.
Mhm.
We were filming in this theater in New York, and it was an empty theater. They had, but it's huge and that beautiful art like all over the place. These little details on like the fixtures and stuff like that is like holy shit! I can't even believe I'm here right now. And then I'm out on stage and I'm kind of looking at, and in the scene it's supposed to be like a packed audience, but then there's only like a
Yeah.
few background actors in the first few rows because that's all the camera's kind of pushing in on. And but I'm supposed to be acting like it's a packed house, and it was just so it was a cool exercise in acting, but then also like in the moment I was like, I can't even believe I'm here right now. It's crazy.
Wait, did you know that it was because I'm pretty sure in the show it's like a silent film, right? Like a silent scene
Yeah.
that it was. Did you know that that was, or they were like just give us everything and then like later they told you?
So this is this is kind of crazy. So going into it, they like I saw the script or the sides beforehand, and it said there's gonna be a voiceover like over the scene. So like whatever, like Gideon just gives a monologue, whatever. And I was like, all right, I'll just do this monologue that I had just learned for the audition a couple months ahead of time, or like a month before. And then when I'm in the makeup trailer, they're like, "Oh, here are the sides for the scene," and it's like this whole full page new monologue, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like you want me, like I have to, and then just in the moment, I'm just like, "Okay, fine, I have to do this," but like I'm just acting like everything's normal, but on the inside I'm like freaking out. But that's just like part of the job, you know. Everything can change last minute, and then so I'm like, okay, maybe they just want it for like maybe it will line up with something like in the voiceover and that's why they want it. But then I get there and then they start miking me up and I'm like, oh shit. So I guess it might be more than that. And then but yeah, it was great. It was so much fun. I just love being like performing, and it's so different like being on stage, I mean acting in the theater and then acting on camera. But they're both like so fulfilling and rewarding in their own way. I mean, there's some similarities, but then like yeah, working with the director and like him like telling me in real time, just oh for this one like do this, making little taking the direction, and then like even in between the takes, like he would like be like, oh let's give it up for like Quentin, like yeah, everyone would clap. That was just such a nice little thing you didn't have to do. But yeah, it was just made it amazing and
Yeah. Did you
it's
because
great.
I know that scene like Martin Short and like Steve Martin, they weren't in that scene, right? Did you get to see them at all that day?
They were in the theater that day. They had me stay in my trailer though, like beforehand. But I got to meet like some of the cast like in passing, but nothing. I didn't get to like sit down and kind of have drinks with them or anything, smoke some cigs or whatever. But it was no, it was cool. I got to kind of get the only murders in the building experience a little bit, and I worked on it again in for season 4. Chris brought me on again for that, and that time I did get to meet Steve Martin and Martin Short and kind of see them work,
Hmm.
see how they worked, which is so amazing. I like forget about that sometimes, but just like so cool. Those guys are legends in the film and television world, and then like in comedy, just so that like energy that they have, especially Martin Short, just
Yeah.
seems infinite, the comedically, and oh my god,
Yeah, dude. They were like leading the pack on like the SNL 50, which is just a room of
yeah,
the funniest people on earth. Like it's crazy.
so amazing, so cool.
That's awesome, bro. All right, now for those of you listening who don't know, I met Quentin on a little TV show that we both booked called Heavy Hitters, and all the other guys that I brought on, I'm always like, I don't really want to dive in and talk about the experience yet. I want to wait until after the show comes out because I always find if you get a peek behind the curtain before you get the full experience, it like ruins the purity of like watching a show for the first time, like where you're removed from it and you're able for that like illusion to kind of really mask itself over you. So maybe later on we can have a conversation and kind of share about the experience, but. I want to ask you because this is something that I've talked to a bunch of guys about, um, and the challenge that comes with, you're kind of in a world, and I don't know about you, but like, because this is something where we really kind of showed up for like the extent of almost 2 months, and you're there, and you're working, and it feels like you're kind of a working actor, and then it kind of goes away, and you got to figure life out again, and like you're thrust out of Narnia, and you gotta kind
Yeah,
of find your way. And that's the thing that me even being new to acting kind of is I knew it was a reality, and I've heard stories of actors who are the best actors in the world talk about like 3 months, 4 months of like not working and trying to navigate that space in that time. And it's something I'm definitely struggling with, in real time. How do you navigate time in between gigs? Are you always, hustling and going, or do you have I mean, I know I also want to talk about you being a father too, because I think that's such a beautiful thing. But what kind of how do you navigate the space of stillness throughout this industry?
you know, I try to have like a routine, but like I don't know, life kind of gets in the way of that. I try to get into the gym at least like some weeks it's like I get in 3 days. If I need some more recovery, I get like yeah, like 3 days. But then I like to get in like 5 days a week. Just being consistent with that, um, especially like just to make myself feel like I've accomplished something and feel good about myself, and then also like mental health, like that's a huge part of that. Just being
Mm.
active and yeah, just getting in the gym is a huge part of that. Yeah, hanging out with my son Colton is like always so amazing. That is super fulfilling. He makes me so happy and he makes me laugh all the time.
Mm.
But yeah, this like every single day I'm like looking for the next job, looking auditioning, like self tapes and stuff, or emailing people, emailing agents or managers. Like I was doing that a lot a few months ago. Yeah, just trying to get people to like watch my reel or just make new connections with people. Going to class and like or going to networking events and stuff like that. I'm actually doing a class tomorrow, an improv for film and television class, which is going to be I'm super excited about. I'm a little nervous for it, but yeah, just trying to be proactive. And like sometimes I sink into like a little bit of like getting down on things. I find like in the winter a lot more kind of that seasonal
Mm.
depression kind of deal, but nothing like terrible. I have a great life, and I feel so lucky. And just showing gratitude for every opportunity that comes my way and everything that I have, and try not to focus on like the things that I don't have, and focus on the things that I do have, and like the opportunities that have come my way, and the opportunities that will come my way again, um, because I work hard, and like just being being positive and always just being proactive and keep working towards the goal, and even setting new goals, and just expanding the skill set, learning new things, always being open to things. And even on Mark's episode I was listening to, he was saying like always say yes, and he was talking about like job, like if somebody offers you a job, you say yes to that. But even taking it further than that, just saying yes to opportunities, like being, oh, do you want to come into this? Do you want to come to this show, this music, see some music? Yes, I want to see that. I want to do that, because you never know like what's gonna inspire you, or who you're gonna meet. And yeah, it's just you never know. Life is
Mhm.
crazy like that. But yeah, proactive, saying yes, showing gratitude, just trying to remain positive, and yeah,
Yeah, bro, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And honestly, that's a great answer for like the question I'm about to ask. But you talked a little bit about mental health. That's something I'm really passionate about. And also just having conversations with my other male friends, kind of diving into masculinity. And I think it's something that is a struggle because there isn't really a container for a lot of guys to kind of talk about their struggles, and like thinking that it's not valid to talk about mental health in certain spaces. And I'm just curious, if you've I mean, I think we all have to a degree, but like battled with mental health, and how, like, what kind of practices, again, you kind of shared it a little bit already, but what kind of practices you have to help that gets you out, to kind of lead like with that gratitude through that time. And just because and also there's something with men and then like performance, where it's like you're putting on all these different masks
yeah.
and not necessarily like hiding from who you are, but you're able to disappear into these different characters. And that can be kind of struggle, like hard with like identity sometimes. So I don't know where the question lies here, but it's just like, have you navigated like masculinity and mental health over the years?
Okay, so for the masculinity part, I think masculinity could mean so much to whoever you're asking. I think it just, I don't know. Like I was even thinking about this earlier, but I think it just means like being like kind of like strong and like who you are, not being like apologetic for who you are, and kind of like what you believe, and um, yeah, just like kind of, I don't even know. It's so hard. Yeah, but just yeah, being just a strong individual, that goes for what they believe and what they want, providing and being there for the people they love, um, and for the mental health part, yeah, just getting in the gym, like I mean, through sports and stuff, I was always so like very active and stuff. And then once like getting into high school and stuff, like I wrestled and I played football as well and some lacrosse and like getting in the weight room. That was like a big deal. Like a lot of the like guys would do that. I never really got like super into like I was in for like whenever we had to do it for practice, but I never like got in like by myself until I was in like college, and then I started to like do it because I was just like always so skinny growing up. Like I didn't eat enough. Like I'm always just like super small. I didn't really like grow. Like I was always a smaller kid. I was just always I don't know if I was like malnourished or something. No, not malnourished, but like I just never like ate a lot and I didn't get into the gym. But then once I started eating more and like getting into the gym, I started feeling better about myself and kind of more. I still feel like I'm like the 105-pound kid that's like wrestling the other like little tiny guys in when I was in like ninth grade. Like I was like just so small. And like that's still something that I like still trying to like break away from because I still see myself as like a little small guy, but like I'm like bigger now. Obviously, I'm like 6 foot tall and like I put on a lot more muscle, but I still don't even see myself as that. So that's something that I don't know if it's body dysmorphia or it's like not like that bad, but like I know people have it much worse. So it's but yeah, getting in the gym definitely helps with my mental health. I'm so sorry. My answers are not concise at
Yeah, it's
all.
all good.
I'm like all over the place.
Yeah, no.
But doing that, hanging out with my son, that's like such a big thing. And we love to like get outside and skateboard. He loves to skateboard. And that was something that I really love to do and I still love to do. But connecting with him on that, playing music, that's a huge thing for me. Like when I'm not if I like don't get in the gym for a while, like I always try to be very consistent with that. But if for some reason like I was sick for in October and I couldn't go to the gym for a little bit, and that was like played a huge um it paid or I don't even know it took a toll on me in the mental health area. But yeah, if I like miss any little one of those parts, I kind of start to feel it. So I'm like, okay, I need to do that. I need to get outside and be in nature, surf. Like when I can surf, I love to surf. That's a huge part. But all these things that just bring me so much joy and like play a huge part in um, kind of allowing me to be like a good person and be like happy and good to be around, you know? But yeah.
Oh, dude, that's beautiful. I mean, I totally relate. There's something, I mean, there's a lot of science behind physical exercise and movement and how it can affect like the the cognition and brain function. I found like the times where I get the darkest is when I like broke my collarbone or something and I couldn't move, like I couldn't exercise, you know. And whenever like it was like a sickness thing or it's like, and then seasonal depressive disorder, bro, it's like hard to you're not really it's hard to be outside more and like getting your feet into the grounds. So movement's a huge part, dude. Movement is a huge part. All right, brother. One of my final questions for this kind of past segment is I've I've heard like McConaughey talk about this where um from like a very very young age he was like he knew what he wanted to be in life was like a dad, was to be a good father. And this is something that scares me, but also I like strive for and I think will like give me the most fulfillment and something I really truly look forward to is becoming a dad and a father. And I'm curious for you, was there like how did bringing like Colt into this world affect you like mentally, emotionally, spiritually? How did it change like perspective like a perspective on life? Because there's something about like you have like a little you that's his own being, but there's like a selflessness that kind of comes over where it's like you can't put everything on you because you have to kind of like you were talking about provide. And then how did it impact like dreaming for the future? Were there things was there ever like a question of being like, I don't know, can I still act and like be a father and all these things? So like what was bringing like a little boy, a little Colt into this world and how did that like impact you and change your life?
Definitely. Well, he was born when I was 18, so I was definitely had to like grow up a little faster than some of my friends. But just something that looking back on it is just so crazy that how normal it became to me, like how quick, maybe just be out of necessity, like I had to just kind of like accept it and become like okay with it. But yeah, it just became like so normal, and I was like, this is, I mean, like was supposed to happen. And yeah, I think everything does happen for a reason, like even if it's doesn't seem like it in the moment. But yeah, Colton has brought so much joy into my life, into my family's life, into I'm starting to tear up a little bit, but my yeah, my family's life and my life, and it's he has brought out of me like just this um like when I'm with him, like I could be like silly and be like, I love making him laugh, and just he just brings so much joy into everything that he does. He's just so has so much energy and is so positive and so curious about everything, and he's so smart, and he inspires me, and he inspires me to just be good and to be a good person, and he motivates me to be my best self and to set like the right example, and yeah, and to just make stuff happen, because I would love for him to follow his dreams and chase whatever he wants to do. And I've even thought about that, like what you were asking about with like acting, and if I could still do that and be a father, like that's something that's like kind of been in my mind a lot here and there. But yeah, like I don't want to tell him to, oh, you chase your dreams when I wasn't true to that. Like I want to chase my dreams. I want to be an actor. I want to work in film and television. I want to continue to do stunts, and I want to create things and be creative and collaborate with people. And I want to show him that it's possible to make those things happen and follow your dreams and be the person that you want to be. You know, like you can do anything that you want. Like if you want it enough, if you work towards it, if you put it out into the universe. It sounds like some people listening to this will be like, "Oh, this he's so stupid." But I don't know. It's like it sounds like kind of silly because I didn't believe in like a lot of this stuff like not too long ago. But yeah, it's just like just believing in it and having faith in like the things that you're doing, and just going for it. And sometimes your faith may waver, but you always have to like believe in your goals and your mission um and what you want. Yeah.
Mhm. Bro, that was beautiful. That was beautiful, dog. And I will say, dude, like truthfully, I think anyone in this industry, like even if they don't identify with it, like this is such a spiritual pursuit because we're constantly kind of putting ourselves in the unknown, and I believe that the unknown is where miracles lie, and like all the odds are stacked against us. So for us to just get any job, anything here that like you meet this one person here that kind of puts you down over here and then takes you over there, and it's just there's no real rhyme or reason in any of this. So I have to believe that there's something guiding this crazy journey, man. And like you're a
Yeah.
talented freaking dude, and you're doing it for the right reasons, and like you're being guided, bro. And it's gonna freaking happen. And it is happening. It is happening.
Thank you.
So.
It's very reassuring.
So we talked about the past, a little bit about the present. Now, we can dive into the future a little bit. Now, I have like mixed feelings about every time I ask this question because I like do truly believe in the idea of like kind of working and hustling in silence and letting the work speak for itself. I used to ask like, what's your dreams and goals and aspirations and like vision board and stuff like that. And I don't necessarily want to ask that. I'm just going to ask basically if you had a vision board or a mood board, like feelings or colors that you want to kind of um, bring into your future reality. What would that look like? What would that feel like? If you want to share, if you have anything coming up on the horizons, work related that you'd want to share. This is very open ended, kind of take it in any direction that feels right. But how's the future feeling for you?
I feel very hopeful about the future. I know that there are big things coming, big opportunities. just staying motivated and continuing with my creative pursuits, with the acting and just doing the self tapes and everything like that, and then working on music. I've been driving myself crazy with this song that I'm mixing, that I'm just trying to get done because I want to share it with everybody, and I partly just want to be like done with it so then I could get it out of my head. But yeah, just the future. I feel, yeah, really positive about it, and you kind of have to be that way.
Mm,
But yeah, big things are coming.
yes,
There
sir.
are, yeah, so many things coming up. Um, I had some big auditions that I'm excited about, and hopefully, fingers crossed and prayers. But yeah, just trying to put out that positive energy, and hopefully it returns back to me.
Yeah, brother. Reciprocity. It's all coming. It's all coming in due time. Now, to wrap up this podcast episode, because we are a professional podcast here, we got some final rapid fire questions. Now, some of these are a little bit more serious, sincere, and then some of them are a little bit goofier. But to start off, what, Mr. Quentin, would you say brings you the most joy right now?
Most joy. Hanging with Colt, playing, skateboarding with him. We've been playing some. We play video games sometimes. We've been playing NBA 2K. He's getting pretty good. He's 6 and he's like almost better than me at 2K. Um, but yeah, playing outside with him, and it was snowing here last week. We built the snowman and that was so much fun. Yeah, just doing anything with Colton. Playing music, creating music, recording it, and yeah, playing like jamming with my friends or creating something with my friends. I don't know. It's so hard to pick just one, but yeah,
Yeah.
all these. There's so many things that bring so much joy.
Also, this is just a side question. Did you ever start a band? Did that ever
Yeah,
happen?
I was in a few bands in high school, and then throughout the like once everybody went away to school, it's like whenever we were home, we would jam together. I'm trying to start some things now for like the summer because I want to be able to like play at some restaurants and stuff and
Yeah.
get up there. But yeah, I'm gonna be collaborating with some super talented artists, and hopefully we can take our songs and stuff, play them live at some places soon. I would love that.
And you sing too?
I do, yeah. I mainly, I mean, like singing live, mainly has been like background vocals and stuff, and then in musicals and stuff. Whenever I've dipped my toe into doing that, but yeah, I haven't sung any of the music that I have out there live, like to anybody. But yeah, it's all out there. It's on Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon Music and all those other things. But
Hey, shit.
yeah, maybe one day if somebody's like, "Oh, I really like this song, you should sing it live." But
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
see, we'll see.
All right, now what is your top four values if you had to choose four values?
Core values. Um, I guess like work ethic. Is
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
value? I guess yeah. Work ethic, persistence, positivity, um, and kindness. I think. Yeah.
Answer. Beautiful answer. What is your spirit animal?
The spirit animal. Jeez.
It's at the little. Wait, what were you guys dressed as? You were dressed as monkeys at
Yeah,
the.
monkeys. Maybe I'm a monkey. I don't know. I don't know. What would I be? What do you see me as? What do you think my spirit? What do I give off? What's my
Bro, I
aura?
was gonna say something like in the sea. In the sea.
Yeah, I
I
would
like
love.
hearing more of your story
I was
because
gonna
like,
say a dolphin, but I don't want to be like people to be like, oh, he's not a dolphin. I once said that if I were a dog, I'd be a golden retriever, and some girl like took it like so she did not agree with me and like was very upset that I said that, and I was like, all right, I'm never saying that I'd be a golden retriever ever again. I don't know what her deal
That's
was.
all her, bro. That's all her. I was actually thinking dolphin though, just because, just talking about the amount of joy and like that you bring into the world through like theater performance, through, I'm sure performing as well, performing live and stuff. So, and plus just your connection to the ocean, the water, and your fluid nature, bro. And they're beautiful. So let's get it on. All right, now did you have when you were younger? Did you have a musical inspiration, like a musical performer, an artist that you really looked up to, or that you wanted to like embody? Like, did you ever do like any Elvis impersonations?
Um, oh my God, when I was younger, I still like them, but I used to love Green Day so much. So like Billy Joe Armstrong, he was one of my guys. I really loved obviously the Chili Peppers, great, just all those guys, super cool. Yeah, Jack Johnson is always bad. Like my mom, like always played Jack Johnson music growing up. There's like so many artists. I can never pick a fit like that. Like picking a favorite artist or favorite band or favorite movie. Like all those are so I can never make up my mind. But yeah, those are a few. Those are a
Okay,
hand.
great answers. It's great answers. Okay, now see, I'm gonna ask you the question that you don't want me to ask, but I'm gonna do it. Do you have a performer, like an actor or someone in the industry that you look up to, that you admire, that inspired you?
Um, there's so
Hmm.
many. Oh my goodness. Um, oh my goodness. If I had to pick one, I'd say Heath Ledger.
Oof, bro. Yes.
Definitely like just so talented and I don't even know. Like it's hard to even put into words like the like that kind of acting is like just
Dude, have you seen Lords of Dogtown? Did we talk about this?
yeah.
Bro, Heath
Yeah,
Ledger
that
in that.
I saw that movie just because being in love with skateboarding and
Hmm.
surfing and that like culture like when I first saw that I didn't even know like I don't even think I was aware of like who Heath Ledger was but then like looking back on it I was like like just being like drawn to that character was just like so cool and so real before I even knew like what authenticity was like in acting like I knew there was something like different like going on with like with him and in that role it was just like holy shit. And then when I had the opportunity to like dive into his other movies and his other roles, I was like that yeah, that's it's the same thing. It's the same thing like that authenticity and that like commitment to the character and that kind of realism that he brought to especially that role and then also I mean like The Dark Knight, so sick.
Mhm.
Joker.
Dude, people were like, I couldn't see him. Like, people were pissed that he was cast originally.
Oh,
But when I watched Lords of Dogtown, which came out before The Dark Knight, I'm like, there were traces of Joker in his character. I'm
yeah.
like, it was there. It was always there. Okay, now this isn't necessarily your favorite film, but this is your comfort film. So like a movie that you just come back to, a movie that you love to quote. You got
Oh,
any of
man.
those?
Oh, so I don't know if this is the right now the one that comes to my mind is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. You ever see that?
Come on, bro.
Dude, that is just such a fun that like the style of that film, it's like almost like a comic book. I've heard the like director, I think it's is it Edgar Wright or something who's the
Mhm.
director maybe. If I'm wrong, then I don't know. But I think so. But yeah, I've heard like them like talk about it, like trying to make it as close to like a comic book as they could and just that style even though it's like not super like there's no like realism just so funny and that cast is like so amazing. Michael Cera is hilarious in that
Mhm.
and Kieran Culkin is in that as well and oh my god yeah just everybody in that is amazing. Chris Evans is in that and his scene is so fucking funny too.
Skateboarder.
Yeah.
No, that's fire. That's a great answer. All right, now tell me about your best wave, like the one wave that like you still dream about, like you go back to is.
Like 2 years ago when I was in Puerto Rico, I it was like one of the first. So I think I'd gotten there on like a Thursday night, and it was like a Friday morning, and I saw the surf report for the day that we got in, but there wasn't enough time to go surfing that day. I mean, I could have, but the sun was like going down already. But then, so then I was like, oh shoot, I was like, I hope I didn't miss the swell. Like, but then the next day, that it was looking promising, and it was even better than I had imagined. And when I paddled out, I got one wave, and I was like, oh shit, like it was a huge wave, and I like dropped from the wave, like literally free falling in the air, landed. And I was like so scared, and I like made it through. But then the next wave that I got was like, and I was like, okay, I know what to do on this wave now. So I did it a little differently, and it was like I was like one with the wave. That sounds so stupid and
No.
so like, cliche, but if anybody's there, I know you've surfed before, but you kind of know that feeling. Um, oh my, yeah, it's just like being in nature. Like that is really like being in nature, like at the fullest, like being one with nature, which sounds
That's real.
I can't stop like speaking in these cliches, but they're true. They're true. Like yeah,
They're cliches for a reason. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's probably yeah. In Puerto Rico at Domes is the break in Rincon.
Let's go. That's awesome. That's
Amazing.
awesome.
I think there's a picture of that wave too on my Instagram if anyone wants to check
Oh,
it out.
check it out. Okay, now you talked a little bit about, getting a few concussions here and there, and you had to, put football aside. I'm really fascinated by this is you're the first person I've asked this, but I want to ask like everyone this because I'm fascinated by this. But do you have any like a scar that you got and like with the crazy story behind it?
A scar. I have like a bunch on my elbows. My elbows are all messed up from skateboarding. My knees. I don't know. There's probably scars on here that you can
Mhm.
see, but I'm trying to think. Yeah, on my knees as well. But I don't know. I think when I was younger, like I would always just be falling. So I have all these scars on my knees and my elbows from skateboarding, or maybe on my hands too. Yeah, just on my hands, like different.
Skateboarding is gnarly.
Yeah, and then but you kind of get used to the fall. It's just a part of it. Like once you,
Hmm.
and then yeah, with skateboarding too, as well as the this isn't even answering your question, but with like skateboarding, what skateboarding taught me is that like persistence. It's like if you
Hmm.
don't land it, like I just became like so persistent, and you get obsessed with like landing the trick. If even if you like fall and like really hurt yourself, like I'm like I need to get that trick because it's like almost like you just don't want to give up on it, and once you get it, it's like so satisfying.
Hmm. Yeah, you
Um,
prove it to yourself. You can do anything.
yeah, but scars, yeah, I don't know. I had my appendix removed when I was like an infant because they were going in for something else. I have a scar. I don't know if you want to see that, but
How do we go? All right. Now, with your musical background, I feel like at some point in like your pursuit in this acting world, at some point there's gonna be a biopic that comes around. You're just gonna fit the freaking bill. So, have you thought about like, would you ever do a biopic? I don't actually know how to say it, but would you do one? And is there like a person specifically that you have in mind that you'd be like, I'd love to play that?
I would love. I don't know if I could, but like I've always thought like maybe Tom Petty. He's amazing. I'm left-handed though, so I don't know like if they would just like maybe flip the frame.
Mhm.
I don't know because I could play guitar like and I don't I
Mhm.
feel like it'd be kind of if I had to I would learn like to be ambidextrous and like learn it this way. But I'm left-handed playing guitar, um, which I think he's right-handed, or he was right-handed. But Tom Petty. For like musical stuff like that, definitely him. I'm trying to think who else. I don't even know. There's so many amazing musicians out there that I would. I mean, it would just be such a, a joy and a blessing and an honor to take on somebody else's life and their experience and to try to embody their life, you know, and their being. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anybody that you think I would be good for? You
Oh
know,
man, I haven't thought that deep into it. Also, my like actual like history with music is not very good. Like I didn't unfortunately didn't we like I guess we grew up in with sort of music, but like not I'm bad with names and faces sometimes
Oh
because I
yeah,
wasn't like that deep into it. So like a lot of guys because it's like now like we would have to play people who are like from like the 70s and 80s and I don't really know. That's dude, bro. If you shave your head and do Phil Collins, I'll lose my mind. I love Phil Collins.
that would be crazy. Phil Collins is fire, dude. I was just listening to some of the songs from the Tarzan soundtrack. I don't know if you've
It's
ever
a great
gotten
soundtrack of all
had
time.
a chance.
Great soundtrack of
Oh
all
my
time.
god,
That one and like Brother Bear, like Phil Collins Disney soundtrack.
yeah, Brother Bear. Oh my god, that's so good.
So good.
He did not have to go that hard. He cooked. He cooked.
He's a legend. He's a full legend. All right. So, Quentin, you you do everything that you want to do. You do more than the things that you want to do. You provide, you leave a legacy behind. You do something so epic. You know, you hit all your goals. You tell the stories that you want to tell. You laugh, you cry, you feel all the feelings, man. You live to be 175 years old, but your time is up. And um people, you know, they show up by the dozens, by the thousands to your funeral. And I just want to ask you, what would you want people to say about you when you're gone at the funeral? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
um, yeah, I want people to say that he was true to himself. That he was always kind and like giving. Like I want to. When there have been a bunch of people, even like I've spoken about in this interview, that have like given me. So they've given back to me. They've taught me so much. They've gotten me opportunities or given me the opportunities to kind of show what I have and to work. Um, and I would love to be able to give back like in that way and to teach people um, what I know and what I learn, and help people in life and in the industry if I ever get the chance. Yeah, and yeah, I think those are just the main things.
Okay. And finally, let's say there's a young kid out there who's got a passion, got a spark to get into the industry, to tell stories, whether it's through film and TV, whether it's through theater. And I mean, the industry's at a really strange time right now, but they're in a dry period and they're kind of trying to figure out if this is what they want to do and they just stay with it and follow their heart, follow their passion. I guess just anyone who's kind of in a space of questioning why they're here on this earth. What is some kind of life advice you'd have for someone who's in that space of trying to figure it out?
Um, just yeah, say yes to opportunities and get on set wherever you can. Talk to as many people as you can. Don't be scared to ask questions. Read as much as you can about other people's experiences and just yeah, just being open to opportunities and open to growth and open to connecting with people. Um, yeah, I think that's like kind of a lot of all you can do.
Mm. Remember, amen. My dude, Quentin, dude, you are freaking talented and gifted. Also, it's so funny because I knew about you, but it's so cool to like learn a little bit more about you. You're so well rounded and like I've again so many gifts, so many talents, and you're gonna bring that all to the world in no time. You're doing it right now. What you're doing with Colin and just you're a great freaking dad, man, and you're just a mentor to so many. I know like even some of the guys and heavy hitters, man. And I'm just blessed to have met you, bro. Blessed to, and I'm freaking, dude, I think about it every single like other day that I like didn't get to go surfing with you. And because I'm looking at my surfboard and my wetsuit, I'm just like, I miss it so much. And that was the opportunity. I didn't jump on it. I was so we're gonna catch some waves sometime, bro. We're gonna do it. Good luck. In the improv group, you're gonna crush it, dude. You're
Oh,
gonna do some crazy comedic stuff someday that I'm not ready for, but the world is. The world is. So, but yeah, bro, I appreciate you. I love you, dog. And let the audience know, bro, where can we find you? Where can we support you? Let them know about the Spotify too with the music and then also the acting.
So on Spotify, you can look me up. It's QPC. Those are my initials. That's what I'm my artist name on Spotify and Apple Music, and yeah, it should just be QPC. I think on some of the my picture should be on there, so you should recognize me. And on Instagram, it's Quentin P Collins, QuentinPCollins.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. All right, bro. Appreciate you, man. Have a beautiful rest of your day and week and month and year. It's gonna be epic.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you so much. This is so much fun.